new narrative is being spread around by that motivated agenda that only 6% of the Indian farmers are getting this MSP, this minimum support price, and this need to be discontinued. I fail to understand the logic given by these people. The problem started with the much touted this Mr. Shantaram committee report because he was a great politician, which our great man, the Pradhan Sevakji, wanted to sideline him. A committee was formed under his chairmanship, which was called Shantaram Committee on Unbundling of the FCI. God knows from where these people got that data, which was of touted that this was of 2002 paddy and wheat season. They said only 6% of the Indian farmer is getting the MSP. That itself proves that the government is at fault. So if you cannot implement something, then you say disband it. Now this is the basic duty and right of the farmer to sell at MSP. What about those 94%? You want to discontinue that? What a great logic. And now this motivated agenda is supported by a very selective band of so-called agri economists, those who are sitting overseas, courtesy of the government of India, enjoying pays and perks of international level and giving us the lecture that no, these three laws are very good for the Indian farmer. What actually you people know? Come to the ground. Those you are only the data crunchers. You hardly know anything. 86% of the Indian farmer is having less than 2 hectares of land. There are more than 12% of the farmer those who are landless. And you are talking, this agitation is started by the middleman. This agitation is of the very rich farmer. The land consolidation took place in Punjab and it concluded in 1977. Then this order came that no farmer will have more than 17 acres of land. And how you will say these are rich farmers? You mean to say after 77, that means in last 43 years, all were childless, no property division took place? If somebody had 17 acres of land in 1977, you mean to say still he is carrying on with that? God give you some wisdom. Why you are propagating these kind of motivated agendas? If you know nothing, then please keep your mouth away from these problems which you are not able to handle. Now, the second narrative is being spread. No, these are very well-off farmers. They speak good English, they wear good clothes, they drive a big tractors. You mean to say we people are we from the Stone Age? You mean to say we can't speak good English? Only you have the exclusive right of writing and speaking English? Our people toiled for years together. We also had the associated programs based on this agriculture. That is why we are surviving. And English speaking, more than 75% of the Punjab is IELTS qualified, having more than 6 bands. And you are saying they can't speak English? What illogical things are being spread in the social media? I fail to understand. Let us come back to the talking table. Look at the patience, persistence of these lakhs and lakhs of those farmers. You may call it million, we'll more than welcome that. You may call them in millions, they are sitting over there. Why you people poke them? Has anybody asked them? Has anybody requested we need to have this farm reforms? You call it farm reforms. We feel that you are going to suffocate us. You are handing this over to these trans corporations, the multinationals. What actually they know about? You need to worry about the public distribution system, the buffer stock of the nation. At least you need 20 million tons every year to sustain. Supposing some crop failure occurs, then where would you go? You will go with the begging bowls to the rest of the world, like we people used to do in 1960s. You should be grateful to this northern Indian farmer, those who stood in the front line. And these were the people, those who said, "Ke we are there, we'll go for experimentation." Our people used to consume only the limited part of the fertilizer, which was only 500 tons. Now, this year we crossed 2.4 million tons of fertilizer had gone into our land. This subsoil is now so much corrupted, and you people want to say that we are super rich? Of course, we might be super rich because our heart bleeds when we hear this nonsensical things from these so-called armchair agri experts. This is really sorry state of affairs when some Pradhan Sevak claims something else and his workforce or his so-called Bhakt speaks something else. Now let me sum up on these issues. MSP, this was an administrative order, agreed. When you people really struck down so many well-established laws, what is the guarantee that you will carry on with this MSP? Number two, look at the trust deficit you people have. Nobody is ready to believe your minister. The Pradhan Sevak, nobody is ready to believe, even if you are speaking in every corner and at every platform. Every day you are online, every day you are video conferencing and saying these farm laws, and with what face value and with what mandate your cabinet ministers are negotiating with the farmers, saying that yes, we are going to review that, we are going to amend that, when the ultimate authority in a democratic country lies with the Prime Minister. And he is vocally speaking at every platform that will not amend the laws. Then why this brainwashing and why this attempt to show something else and doing diagonally opposite to this? Look at the extreme cold. We people are in habit of this. Our ancestors used to suffer a lot and still they survived. This is sub-zero temperature at certain places. Look at the persistence of these farmers, those who are camping in billions outside the national capital. Why you people poke them? They were coolly doing their own agriculture. They were happy. By this time, they must have been doing the cane farming. Next, the crop vegetable would come. Then the sarson would come. Then another Lodi and Maghi would have been there. We were doing very nice things. You poked us. You said will not allow you to enter the state capital. Then you said will not allow you to enter the country's capital. This is our capital, not yours. You are just a stopgap arrangement. And all these farmers have enough resources at their disposal. They can wait for another 3 years when the government change they will make sure that government changes. You think they are going to lie down? You think we also participated in international summits and international conferences? Such a long discussion, even WTO was not of that great length. When the entire more than 165 countries were negotiating for world trade agreements. And this is between the farming community and one of the administrative secretary. Look at the protocol. One of the junior most officers in the agriculture department is writing a letter as joint secretary. Why not the country's prime minister? When the talks failed with the agriculture minister, your home minister jumped in. Now you are saying, no, will not change. Your amendment is welcome. Anyway, you are at free will, because this is the same very people, those who elected the new prime minister. They voted for this and they know how to vote it out. This is the world's largest democracy. So we'll suffer for this because we people voted this party to power, and we have this Pradhan Sevak working for the, I would say, and definitely no reservation in conveying for the betterment of the corporates. This is so sorry state of affairs. We have the persistence will survive. This is always the northern part of the country which stood up against all the invaders. Now, once it started, look at rest of the country. Everybody is pulling in their resources, manpower. They are coming here. Certain section of the society which was motivated and which was your Andhbhakt, they were saying, why it is this problem is only with the northern states? Of course, when the first war of invaders took up, this was the northern countryside which stood up. When second time Mughals invaded, this was the same very people. And now Indian independence struggle, at all, even if you start 1857, this was only the Britishers, those who could not rule the erstwhile Punjab up till Kabul and Kandahar. They were never able to reach there. Now, we started the first Anglo War, we started the first war of independence, and rest of the country they joined in. We never fought for our Punjab, for our section of society, for any part of this great nation. We fought for the entire nation. And now again, in this modern time, post-independence, even in 1905, when that Pagdi Sambhal Jata campaign came in, this was again the Punjabis, those who stood up against this mighty force, where they used to say that in all 5 continents, Britishers were ruling. And they made sure they took that laws back. Now, why you want a confrontation with your own countrymen, with your own people, those who voted for you? I think by the grace of God, better sense will prevail. Look at, this is New Year's Eve. This could have been a best gift. You could have walked down to the farmers and said, look, dear all fellow countrymen, we'll renegotiate these laws in the next parliament session whenever it takes place. Since you people are not ready to accept this, I welcome, this is a democratic country.